Hello, 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 we are live and we are broadcasting from the beating heart of Los Angeles here in Beverly Hills, 315 Beverly Drive. I feel like I'm sounding like a BBC announcer. Live from the BBC in London. Hello everybody, welcome to Lattes with Lorimer. We have with us today one of the loveliest agents we have here, who has one of the prettiest names and is one of the nicest people.
You're very sweet.
I'm a sweet guy, her name is Isis Luna, and it's a beautiful name. And she is a creative, originally an East Coaster.
I am.
Moved from New York, came to LA, and her journey led her to the dark side.
The dark side
Of PLG Estates. But we're going to talk, as you know, those of you who watch Lattes, hello on Instagram, hello on YouTube, hello on Facebook, hello on Snapchat, hello on MySpace, hello on the telephone, hello. I'm
That'd
sorry.
be really impressive if you have a MySpace.
Ah, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You mean you don't have a MySpace anymore?
I probably do. I just never use it. I never logged off of it, I guess.
Right. So as you know, you guys that watch the show, this is much more about the person than it is about real estate. Of course, there is a healthy smattering of real estate information in there, but we'll have to talk about our agents and who they are as people and their belief structures and interests, likes, dislikes, and all of that malarkey. So let's give some of the people a little background. Isis is a successful actress and has worked in theatre and comes from New York, which is a city that is steeped in wonderful treading the boards activities. So I'm going to shut up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your history, who you are, what you're about.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Cheers, by the way.
Yeah.
Cheers! God save the Queen.
I actually grew up in Miami, and after that I moved to...
Ugh, God, that is awful.
What did you have there?
Wow, I'm so sorry.
Wasn't that a latte? What was it?
It's awful. Wow.
Do you want to try mine? I haven't tried it yet.
No. No, I don't.
You should go down to Miami actually and try some coffee there.
Oh, I love Miami.
But it's like crack coffee there.
It's like Cuban stuff, right?
It's really Cuban and it's a lot of sugar.
Oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah, and like I already feel like I'm jittery from one cup of coffee. There, it's like one will have you for days. Just like...
Not me.
Probably not you.
Not me.
You're made out of coffee at this point.
I used to go to the DJ conferences, the Winter Music Conference in Miami.
Yeah.
And so I used to go to Versailles all the time there.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And have the Cuban coffee there, and I'd slurp down 5 or 6, and my friends would be like holding up their table, and I'd be like falling asleep.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Ooh.
A pint of Cuban coffee, please.
Cool. That is really impressive.
Well, you know, hey.
I grew up there, and 2 is my max.
Yeah, but I'm like 15 times the size of you.
Okay, not that much. And I was probably smaller then too, because I was much younger.
So, Miami?
Yeah, so I grew up in Miami. I moved to Atlanta for about 6 months for work, and then I realized it snows in Atlanta, and I was like, no, I'm going to New York. It does. And actually, it only snowed that year, and after that, for years, it didn't snow. So it was just enough for me to like leave.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so then you headed to New York?
Mm-hmm. And I spent 6 years about in New York, and I did a lot of real estate there.
Right.
Yeah, and then it got too cold again.
Yeah, when we met, Isis was working at another firm that shall remain nameless out of New York City, and you know, what I loved about you, and I still love about you, is that you have this kind of, you just have this inherent, you can't help but like you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, some people you come across, right, and you're like, oh God, I can't wait to get away from these people. And you just have this super calm, lovely nature, and I like the fact that you are, I refer to real estate as slinging houses. You were slinging houses in New York, which is a much different market and a much more difficult market.
You know, you think it's more difficult, it's just different for me.
How is it different?
Well, every deal is attached to an attorney over there.
Right.
So you know, as an agent, you don't have that much of the liability. You know, they get to deal with all of the contract. We cannot touch the contract, but we can tell them how to change it. And So there's a part of it that you can just focus on making sure that your client is happy and that we found the right place and that we're negotiating, and it's a lot more of that focus. There's still a lot of paperwork because they're co-ops. It's like 70% co-ops.
Right.
So our bulk of work is just coming up with these ginormous packages of information on someone, you know, from finances to where they went to school, to references, to why they really want this apartment. Like, it's very extensive.
I always feel that the co-op thing, there is some legal boundaries in there of discrimination, you know?
They can't flat out say why they're denying someone, but a lot of times, as long as you go exactly by what they want, you have a good chance of getting the apartment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, thank God there aren't too many co-ops in LA. So let's talk about your creative side, because that's a very large part of who you are.
Yeah.
Tell everybody out there that's watching, you know, creatively, what makes you kind of tick creatively? What do you do? What have you done, and what do you do?
I started off in theater, and I did some classes in theater in a studio, in various studios in New York, and then focused in one. And then I started doing short films, and then when I came out here, I started doing a little bit more of TV. So I think I've done a little bit of everything except singing. I don't think anybody wants to hear me sing.
Oh, we might have you sing before the end of the broadcast.
God, no.
I think it might happen. Do we have a guitar line about?
Please say no.
Okay, you and Cindy.
So yeah, I mean, it's only a shower situation for that.
So you moved to LA when?
I moved officially almost 2 years ago.
Oh wow, okay. And then how did you find your way to the island of misfit toys known as PLG Estates?
Well, I gave real estate a little bit of a break, and I was focusing mostly on acting when I first got out here, which is, you know, it'd been 2 years, but it's probably been only a few months that I'm back in the game.
Sure.
And I got that bug again to just want to really get to know the town, and I think the best way is looking at the real estate and seeing what's happening in town. And this is such a spread out city that it's very hard to focus on one area, so you kind of have to really, you know, put yourself there.
And so mom and dad are still in Miami?
No, they're New York. They bounce between New York and Dominican Republic.
Oh, I see. Oh, how lovely.
Right? My mom, like, she's a snowbird. She, like, goes back and forth. Every time it gets cold in New York, she's like, bye.
Oh, nice.
Right? She's got the life.
And so just to kind of show everybody how lovely you are. First open house you sit, boom.
Yeah.
Escrow.
Lucky.
No, no, talented.
And, you know, some work, some experience has gone into it.
Yeah, it's great. So let's talk about, I always like to ask this question of the agents, because I think it just kind of shows, it's just me being nosy, really. On a bucket, I am nosy. I get it from my wife, who is controlling and nosy. Hi, babe.
We love Cindy.
Yes, we do. We all love and fear Cindy.
Exactly.
Bucket list. Places you have not been. Let's talk about this. Give me 2 places you've been that blew your mind, and then 2 places that you want to go.
I was recently in India.
Oh.
And that absolutely blew my mind. I did not expect to love it as much as I did.
Where did you go?
I was mostly in Delhi, and it was incredible experience. Like, everything is so colorful, and the people are so sweet. You know, regardless of what situation they're going through in life, everybody, whether somebody you meet in the street or somebody you meet, you know, at a restaurant or a hotel, they're just very compassionate and very loving and very, like, welcoming society. I really, really felt very loved there.
Was it intense when you were walking down the streets? I hear you get packed by, get followed by packs of kids. And...
You know, and I'm used to going to third world countries because, you know, my family's from the Dominican Republic, but it's magnified there. There's so many more people. And going through the streets of it, the first thing my friend said is, don't get on one of the rickshaws. And the first thing I did was get on one of the rickshaws. Okay. And I was like, oh, this is why. You just don't know if you're going to make it.
What happened? What
it was like you're weaving through traffic, and people, there's like no stop signs. There's like just cars coming at you. And you're just like, oh my God, please let me make it to my destination, please. And then you realize the city has its own rhythm, and they all understand how to work it.
Yes.
You know, as long as I'm not the one driving, we're good.
You know, Cindy and I, well, I guess I had a similar situation in Vietnam. When we went back there, I went back to ask her family for her hand in marriage. Aww. Because a lot of them still live in Saigon because they didn't escape the war, right? And literally, it was the most terrifying thing. I was in like a little mini, you know, a mini tour bus thing, right?
Yeah.
and there are no stop signs. It's all mopeds. The way people go around the roundabouts,
right? And
and I'm like, oh my!
Like, how am I ever going to survive this? And then you do, and then you do it again, and you're like, okay, so maybe they know what they're doing.
And then you get used to it.
You kind of do,
right?
Then you get back to the States, and you're like wanting to beep at people because they're in your way.
Did you go to the Taj Mahal?
Yes.
Oh wow!
Breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. Yeah.
Wow.
And I went with a good group of friends of mine.
So you got married, right?
Yeah, I had 2 close friends who got married to each other. And
thank God.
And so they're such a unique couple. They brought in people from all over the world, flew in for this wedding. There was a group of us from London, a group from from the States, and from everywhere, from Dubai, from India, in different places of India.
I love it.
It was beautiful. It was incredible, and we all got to experience this together, which was really
how I saw your pictures on Instagram. It was fabulous. Actually, speaking of which. If people want to get a hold of you, want to find you, want to talk about real estate, want to talk about Taj Mahal, how do they get a hold of you on Instagram?
Instagram, my handle is LA Luna Real Estate, or you can do my personal, which is Isis, I-S-I-S, Luna Esteves. So either one, I'll answer.
Your name just sounds like chocolate cake to me.
Oh, thank you. My friends did a great job.
It's so lovely. It's like, Isis Luna Este. It sounds like...
I just added the Esteves because my mom's last name, and then Isis Luna was taken. So I was like, oh, let's do this.
It sounds like velvety...
They're so creative.
Chocolate cake.
My dad wanted to match my last name. I can't even stay serious with you anymore.
Maybe I'm hungry.
I'm always hungry for chocolate.
Maybe the poison in the latte is actually kicking in. I'm beginning to hallucinate.
Just use chocolate now.
So, okay, we talked about the Taj Mahal. We talked about India. Give me one place that you have not been that you will go before you die.
Egypt. My dad took a trip when I was really young, and I couldn't go because I was so young. And he brought back all these artifacts, and it's still to this day the most mesmerizing thing to me. He came back with this beautiful chest, and it's just like the culture, the pyramids. My name is Egyptian.
Right.
It's my dream trip.
My father actually taught at a university in Egypt for many summers. Yeah.
That is so amazing.
Yeah, and he brought lots of things back from Egypt in the 70s and 80s.
That's incredible. And you can still go into the pyramids at that time, even when my dad was there in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big deal, you can
Giza,
go around.
right? Giza, what's it called? Giza.
Yeah, Giza.
Well, Giza.
Giza, I think.
Giza, okay. Because a geezer is me. I'm an old geezer. All right. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we bring to its conclusion another wonderful velvety chocolate cake edition of Lattes.
I'm so hungry now.
With Lorimer, with the fabulous Isis Luna Esteves. Oh, I'm just going to keep saying it. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I'm just going to say your name. All right, so now we stand up, we give each other a hug.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
We love you to pieces, and we love everybody out there. We love your comments, we love your thoughts, we love you for watching. And we will see you again on another Lattes next week. Until then, toodaloo. Bye.